Welcome back to the class, everyone. We are heading into the second week of 5v5 right now. We did really well during our last match, and now we're going to be going up against a few harder opponents, I think, this week. So first up is going to be Dino, or Dino, I'm guessing it's Dino. He does have quite a few advantages on us, but we're close enough where I think we can still have a shot here. He only has 181 relic levels on us, which is pretty nice for us. He does have profundity, so I'm hoping we can kind of just cut ships out of the equation. We did that actually a lot last week with everything that was going on. We just kind of tried to guard our top wall. You do have very similar DSC Omicrons, I think almost identical, other than the fact that he swapped one of the Malgus ones for the Savage Omicron, so we'll see where that gets both of us. Mods are fairly even. He wins in the lower categories and we win in the upper categories, but for the most part, like I said, our rosters are pretty even. I think the biggest advantage that he probably has over us is profundity. The rest we kind of even out. That being said, let's go ahead and look at his defense. He didn't set a very hard one. He seems to be going more heavy offense. I mean, these are still good teams. We have Starkiller here without Palpatine. I'm guessing what the idea here is. It's probably going to take Emperor Palpatine and Tarkin on offense to kill maybe my Lord Vader or something like that. Guys, his own Lord Vader we have to handle, as well as Malgus. That Qui-Gon Jinn team doesn't scare me too much. If I remember correctly, it's not very fast. And then top wall is also just not threatening at all. He's wanting me to get this. I think he's wanting me to struggle on bottom, and then he's probably going to be able to beat me for high banners. I did try to place a nasty defense myself. I have my C, Malgus, and Lord Vader, all their level 9 Datacrons on bottom, as well as my Maul team, because the top is actually worth more, and with profundity, so I also tried to stack a lot of things over here. I don't think I changed this Datacron out, did I? Gosh darn. Okay, so that's wrong. But JMK, this, and then I have my very embarrassing Ben Solo without his Omicron. For those who listen to the Matt Awesome show, I have 4 Omicrons ready to go. I had 0 Zetas, so Ben's still going to be decent, but obviously not as good as he should be. So that being said, let's go ahead and get to the whacking and getting into the battles. We wanted to start this off fairly comfortably, so we're going to be going ahead and using our Iden counter versus Mon Mothma right at the rip. Didn't get to use this counter last match. We put it on defense because one of our opponents didn't place Mon Mothma, and I don't get a whole lot of use out of this team, with them being at gear 12, at least at where we are in Kyber 1. But this time, I specifically took them off defense because I knew that they were going to have this opportunity, and Iden continues to not disappoint. We recently put her in a video about teams that do really good things against relic teams at lower gear levels, and Iden, I think we didn't really rate them this way, but she would have been number 1 on the list. It's a ridiculous amount of things they can do, and this is gear 12 versus relics, but you can even do this at lower. We were doing this around gear 11. I've heard of people doing it lower, but still, that's a great way to get a perfect banners against your opponent's defense. Next up, we are going to go ahead and take in our Bad Batch versus their Qui-Gon Jinn. This is a pretty well modded Qui-Gon Jinn team. They had a lot of speed on a lot of characters. Luckily, my Echo was just fast enough to go in front of everyone, and then from there, we were able to stun them. And you can even see, Qui-Gon took his turn before Tech did, or rather before Hunter did. So I think the Qui-Gon had like an active 360 speed. With our Ignore Taunt, we go ahead and kill him just because I know that we're not going to be able to consistently kill him, as well as control Jedi Anakin with the 2 taunts. We kill him immediately. I'm like, okay, if we land the stun on Jedi Anakin, we're in business. We don't. I think he had foresight, so that pretty much made that a non-factor. And then he gets a few clutch hits off here, but really, and I guess I need to get Omega to R5, because the rest of the clones are R5, and they almost always tank Jedi Anakin's hits, but Omega, not so much. She typically eats it at some point. So, solid 61 banners there, I suppose. Going into our next match, this looks weird, but if you think about it, it makes sense. So, this is the typical Starkiller team, except instead of Emperor Palpatine in the lead, they are using Dooku. And I think the reason why they're doing this is because they wanted to maintain their super powerful defense and whatnot. But they wanted to use Emperor Palpatine with the Tarkin cheese with their Datacrons on offense to probably beat my Lord Vader. So, for a very easy and convenient switch, they just threw in Dooku. He does make this team worse, sure, but I mean, it's still pulling the same counter. Although I don't know if we've ever gotten 63 with Grievous versus Starkiller. So, I mean, this works very well. B2 got us turn in the beginning. We were able to get target lock, keep hitting the target lock, just generate a dumb amount of turn meter. So that worked very well. And now, we're going to go ahead and go into the sketchy Lord Vader counter once again. This one has about, I think, 30% dodge. So, not an enormous amount, but enough to make a difference. And we did misplay this a little bit. We should have swiped first to guarantee Thrawn had to go after Zombie, but I think with her being low gear, he always prioritizes a kill if possible. So we got a kill on Zombie, and that was great for him. But now we now have 3 stacks of Beskar on our SLKR, as well as the cleanse tech to get rid of the healing immunity. So we might whiff a lot, and that could be potentially very bad for us, but we're gonna do a ton of work now. So Doc is probably about to eat it. We didn't cleanse her at the right time. Can't quite get everyone down here, and you can see now we're starting to dodge, or we're starting to whiff quite a bit. It's not every hit, but it's a lot of the hits. So Maul gets his whole thing going, which is not super convenient for me, but we get down pretty low. I'm like, okay, let's see if we can stun Maul, because then if we siphon him, really, if we siphon him twice, his damage is pretty much gone from there, because he was stunned, so it was double. And he's not, even if he gets back to his 5 stacks, he's not going to do nearly as much damage. And I really don't like the amount of dodges we have going on here, just because we don't have as much health steal every single time we're hitting back. You can see we get pretty low, and I end up having to proc ults when I don't want to. Like, I had to use it at 85% there because we were about to die. And really, I just want Thrawn to be dead, if at all possible, because if he's gone, then we can pretty easily come in and clean up with our bounty hunters, because they even work with deflection. They don't really work with dodge. So we get pretty much everyone down, or rather, we just get Maul down. In the beginning there, I'm like, okay, can we keep making contact here? We do get really low on our health sometimes. We got a nice counter there on Second Sister that cleared out they gave us all of our health back, so that was nice. We have to use ults at inopportune times to be able to make sure that pretty much just that we don't die. Lord Vader's still hitting us really, really hard. We're siphoning to get more damage, but we're not getting more survivability as this battle is going on. Lord Vader's getting really close to just killing us. I'm like, all right, we're going back into ult to see if we can get all the way back through our protection. And then I said to hope we don't whiff here, and we do. We whiff again. I'm like, okay, let's go for the guaranteed hit, and the poke kills them all the way to 51 banner. So barely won that one. They had a lot of things going for them, but it is what it is. So we have to beat Malgus now, and I put C on defense, and I don't typically like doing that. And this is probably why. So I don't really have a counter for this. I do have JML, but I was a little worried that JML would lose here, especially because he doesn't have his Datacron anymore, but they still do. So I kept holding the AoE because I wanted to wait until either A, they had Ferocity, or B, we have Qui-Gon Jinn's death, because I don't want Jedi Anakin to get his turns for when he has all that offense with that being on cooldown. But we do get stuck, and this has happened before, and I think this is partially because of the Datacron, because he's never going for his taunt, but it's because we get stuck behind Malik, and this is kind of surprising. My Jedi Anakin doesn't have that much crit chance. There's not a lot of crit chance on my team in general. Malik has a good amount of crit avoid, like 80% right now, and we still pretty consistently crit him and end up fearing ourselves, which is what I thought was going to happen, and keeps happening. And now we lose all of our bonus damage, and the whole thing is almost for naught until Cam one-shots Talon. So we get to come back in with Jedi Master Luke, and I mean, this feels terrible. Like, two-shotting something is typically never a good feel, but now having to two-shot something when one of them is a Galactic Legend is even worse, especially when you're not even fighting a Galactic Legend. So Malgus, I guess I should probably treat you with more respect, but here we are. So we're going ahead and we're going to use this. We increased Darth Revan's cooldown so he wouldn't AoE fear everyone immediately, and then we keep calling in Jedi Luke. He does damage, yes, but also because he can't be feared, so if we're constantly critting or whatever Malik, it's not that big of a deal. And now we get into a little bit of predicament here, because we can't, I want to use the lead ability and call people to assist, but you can't call people to assist against Darth Revan. So we actually end up just calling in Hoda to assist against Malgus in the meantime, before we actually set up our big hits to go in and kill their Darth Revan. So, because yeah, who I really want their killer Darth Revan is my Giant Luke, because he's the one who has potential to kill him without actually having to use assists. It can just be his own raw damage. Him and Jedi Master Luke, which is what we end up seeing here. And then once it's just Malgus, there's not a lot he can do, especially with Jolie in there. I mean, and we have Jedi Knight Luke as well to reduce his overall max health and protection. I do try to be careful not to only call in people with basics that don't have debuffs, which basically means don't call in Jedi Master Luke, which is what I wouldn't do anyways, because you get ult faster if you call everyone else in. So that's what we do. We get Malgus down after about 3 minutes there. We get to the back wall. Not a lot impressive. Nothing really super impressive. We have all the teams we need to full clear him, I'm pretty sure. We've taken Wampa versus his Newt because I think it's about the only team that Wampa's going to beat from here. And it works. It works pretty well. We shouldn't have cleansed the extortion because we feed crit damage to Grievous. It's one of the, it's definitely top 3 stats for him. So yeah, that wasn't ideal. That was really, I didn't mean to click that. I just wanted to click the far right button because I wanted to get stacking offense or whatever, and this is kind of where it led us. So getting everything down, and this, if you're modded well, you really can't lose this fight, but you do have to be a little bit careful here when it's just Grievous and Newt, because if you're not modded correctly, not enough of their attacks can be countered, and Grievous can actually just kind of pulverize you. So going up against another Grand Inquisitor team with a Datacron with our Gear 12, Sith here, we did take in GBA, which you're gonna see is gonna be entirely pointless. They never get a turn because this Inquisitor team, they have the Datacron that gives them extra TM whenever a debuff expires, which is overall it's pretty good. It's not the best one. They probably want the cooldown one still, but you'll see that my Geonosians never get a single turn at all. And I think the only reason that my Nihilus is because he's getting turn meter whenever they're getting debuffs. So my Nihilus has gotten quite a few turns by now. I don't know if anyone else has really moved. And then Grand Inquisitor takes about 5 hits onto my, onto my Scion, but we're able to annihilate him. And now, I mean, really the only thing that's going to kill Nihilus is Exposed or some other type of max health damage, because he's gained so much max health. He's got to be like 100,000 or something like that. And yeah, once Grand Inquisitor's dead, there's really no damage threat. Like Eighth Brother doesn't have it in him, unfortunately for them. So we just pretty much have to wait this out. We're going to annihilate Eighth Brother as soon as we can. And then once he's out of the picture, we just put it on auto until we eventually go ahead and annihilate their 9th as well. Traya does get a little bit close to dying there, but she tanks it and comes back and she's fine. And yeah, like I said, by this point, it's just auto until Nihilus gets back to his next annihilate, and 9th will just eat her too, I guess. I think the only one who didn't annihilate, I guess there was 2 of them probably. Okay, so huge misplay here. We had the revive Kron with Vader, so this is fine, but huge misplay. We should have, they all have foresight, which is fine, but if we cleared a few of those off with basics and then started using the AoE, we would have been fine, but instead we did the opposite. We threw an AoE out, didn't debuff anyone, and now we're forced to basic and they counter and kill us, so pretty large misplay on my part. Should not have done that. We're going to go ahead and take Sealess versus Radis now. So it's typically pretty safe. I've decided that when doing this, I like to go after the ads first rather than going right for Adrad himself. He's just so tanky and really hard to get through that I think, yeah, you get stuck there, and I think everybody else kind of gets to do what they want to do. So obviously we make sure to go after him before we go after Jin, but I feel like that's the path of least resistance there, is to kill the ads, kill Adrad himself, and then kill Jin. Gotta make our way through the resistance comp now. I mean, it's troopers. They'll be fine. We do get some clutch dark assist, but still, this wasn't going to be a battle we were going to lose. So very easy. Taking our bounty hunters versus their bounty hunters, and awkwardly enough, even with them having Django lead who gives bonus speed, we still move first. I think mostly in part to the fact that Zam is an extra bounty hunter on my side, so we get more bonus speed. And then I mean that's all she wrote. They can't really do anything. We've already killed 2 of the, I guess we've gone through, yeah, we've killed 3 people technically. Django got back because of the revive, and they haven't even taken a turn. And they're not going to take many. So they go out there, they get a few hits in, Nest gets her dazed. They get all their like fun debuffs out at once, and then Grief immediately cleanses, and we're just done with them. We go ahead and play the pop the thermals fun game, and then Boba kills Nest on an AoE. So absolutely destroyed that. And then we have to do this really weird first order cleanup. I don't really have any real teams per se left. So, and this was actually, looking back, I think I noticed this as soon as we were done. This was a terrible lead for the team we're taking in. We totally should have taken in Bam. A Fennec lead provides no bonuses when there's no debuffs to dispel and you don't undersize. So we essentially went into this without a lead, and Nest pretty much does like everything for us here, which is, I guess it's kind of ironic for us that we didn't think she was going to do that in the first place. Because, yeah, she just, with being able to ignore taunt, like, Fennec can't do a whole lot because she has to, she's stuck behind the taunts. But Nest can kind of just go where she wants. We get rid of First Order TIE Pilot immediately just so they lose all the bonuses. And then once they do, it's a regular First Order team again, and between Nest and Fennec, the damage is too much. We pulverize them. So going into fleets here, pretty much have done this battle, I think, every single JC match since this fleet came out. They put their Empire down, we go right for Malevolence. We don't even, like, this one doesn't even really go our way. Like, we don't get all the assists in the beginning, and TIE Bomber ends up living far longer than I would have liked, but it doesn't matter. AoE goes ahead and kills them. We get the Buzz Droids out on. As long as we get the next assist, he's probably just dead. Then he dies. So that's cool for us. And now we get to bring in Spy. Probably just nuke one of these two. I go for Vader just because he doesn't have foresight. Don't get an assist there. I guess, oh, they were both days, so that we were going to get the assist anyways. But yeah, it's not, unless you get really screwed with dodges or with assists, it's hard to lose. We've done it, I think, maybe twice in all of our attempts, but for the most part, it's pretty solid. And then the Geos actually win, so that's kind of fun for them. 65, pretty much the standard for us. And then we're going to go ahead and I think, which one of these do we want to take out next? I think we were going to do is go against the Negotiator team. We're going to go ahead and bring in our First Order here. And this is a little iffy depending on the speeds of Ahsoka per se, because depending on what you do in the middle of the battle, she can kind of mess things up. She actually didn't in this one. We were able to get hunted onto Jedi Anakin as well as stun him. And he doesn't have quite enough damage here. I would like him to be somewhere around the 30%, so we make sure we trigger unending loyalty from Negotiator so he doesn't get it back on as soon as Jedi Anakin gets it off his first time. So we basic there, and I'm like, okay, you know, I guess we might as well go for the stun here. We got unending loyalty out. That was great. We don't have things lined up here correctly so that Silencer pushes Jedi Anakin out of unending loyalty. So I don't want to take in Ebonhog just yet because he's my buff to spell to be able to get rid of the stealth in the first place. So we go ahead and just keep spreading turn meter here, and Plo really honestly puts a huge wrench in things, because not only are they cleansed, but typically when my Ebonhawk comes in, he can just kill Jedi Anakin with basics by giving turn meter. And of course, they get their AoE off at a very bad time, and now, I mean, that's game. So we end up actually having to just time out this fight with the Negotiator pretty much at low turn meter with having you just use his AoE. And then we're actually able to come in with Radis, who, again, it's 7-star, or not 7 stars, so we don't have all the abilities maxed. But we had the TM load, and that's not what I was going for originally, but we had it just right. This battle actually goes perfectly for us. We were able to hit Ahsoka down the perfect amount of times to burn right through unending loyalty, and then our AoE ends up killing Jedi Anakin. So, you know, right in the beginning of the fight, before we lose anyone, they've lost their 2 main damage dealers. So it's pretty much a wrap on this one. Obviously, we still have to win the rest of the fight, but there's not a lot their fleet can do after they lose that much that quickly. And then, yeah, they bring in 5s who pretty good damage, but it's okay. It's whatever. And we just kind of keep taking down Y-Wing. That's probably not the ideal thing to do, because now everyone's going to counter us and whatnot, but we'll manage here. It's 1 versus 3 at this point, and then we're able to actually, we bring in Jedi Consular. I don't know if the other character we had in the back would have been better, but not sure how much it matters. I'll take my 47 banners, and then all that's left really is taking in Rebels versus Radis, which can be an annoying fight because they'll dodge a ton. And then not only with dodge, we have to worry about the Millennium Falcon assisting the correct amount of times that we 1 or 2, and she just doesn't really like 3 times in a row. Don't know why. Okay, I didn't use that. And then, yeah, dodge Flat Falcon again, even when she did assist. Oh, dodge Falcon again. It's very, yeah, it's not a fun thing. Luckily, we have Cassian and reinforcements. Like, all right, let's just get rid of all that. Let's slow down their progress to ult. Let's actually call in Falcon so we don't have to worry about her assisting. And I'm like, okay, this is cool. We got Shield Disruptor on him. And then they just, yeah, cleanse everything and gets all his protection back. So that's fun. Still going pretty strong here. I mean, we've taken out members of their fleet, and they haven't taken out any members of ours just yet. I go for the defense pen there. And then hopefully we just have enough damage to get through Sarge. And it looks like they're going to get a kill here too. So we go ahead and take in our own wedge, just for a little bit of extra damage, especially when my Falcon keeps missing, or just not assisting in general. And then we actually stealth Y-Wing, which I don't think was my intention. I didn't realize the ability did that, but we know now. Don't know why I put out Shield Disruptor. That was pointless. But we end up taking down most of the team. We get our 72 banners there, and we do end up losing the match. But this is the type of match that I still look forward to, and that I'm very happy to lose. At the end of the day, the only thing that I think I genuinely played poorly, that I could have done significantly better, was against the Hux team. Like I said, if I had played it differently, if I had gone in ability block, tried to use my basic and clear the foresight off of a few, we would have been able to actually loop them, and then if we killed them in the right order with our Culling Blade, that would have been pretty high banners. But as you can see here, we weren't 30 banners away from winning. The margin was much larger than that. Our opponent did very well. In fact, the only thing that he failed on, which I was a little surprised that it was ships, because he has both Executor and Profundity. But Empire still got a hold. So that was kind of nice. But he one-shot everything else. And I mean, he had a lot of good stuff on offense, obviously, but we didn't put down a weak defense. Like, especially my top wall, like, we have like a 40% dodge cron on the Dashacron with Ben in there. So overall, again, props to my opponent. Played a really good match. I mean, we knew this kind of coming into. He's gotten higher up on the leaderboard than most people in our bracket. He has 1 million lifetime GAC points, as well as technically the roster advantage as well. But that is going to be it for today, guys. Thank you for watching. As always, stay awesome.